Junichi is a high school student with no love experience but receives 4 harems as soon as he appears. Hearing that it is difficult for gals to refuse boys, he kneels and confesses to a gal. Surprisingly, he receives success and has a very sexy girlfriend. More surprisingly, his girlfriend's close friend also has a crush on him and always wants to force him to have an intimate relationship coupled with his childhood sweetheart and a smart girl he once had a crush on. Junichi has to worry about how to reject them every day, the male protagonist of this anime. Junichi is a second-year high school student. He used to think it was very easy to find a girlfriend in high school. However, 1 year has passed and he hasn't even touched a girl's hand. Seeing couples around him, Junichi feels very envious when he arrives at the class. He is stopped by his neighbor Nin. They grow up together and have a very close relationship. Because Junichi forgot to bring his bento in the morning, she helps bring it over. After she leaves, 3 of Junichi's friends ask him about Nin. They are the glasses-wearing Sakamoto, the blonde-haired Ishida, and the obese Kobayakawa. Like Junichi, none of them has ever been in a relationship. Seeing Nin's lowly face and plump figure, the trio is attracted by her, while Junichi only thinks of her as his younger sister. Just then, a female classmate, Yu, greets Junichi, having excellent grades and outstanding appearance. Yu is very popular in school. Although she doesn't have a plump figure, her charm is enough to make up for the lack. Unfortunately, no matter how perfect Yu is, it has nothing to do with the trio. Frustrated, the trio decides to relax by reading adult magazines. Seeing this, other students all look at them strangely. Feeling embarrassed, Junichi asks them to put away the magazine but gets rejected. The trio claims that reading adult magazines in the classroom can destroy the serious atmosphere of the class. In the end, Junichi is forced to accept a magazine. While reading the magazine, a girl interrupts him. Startled by her, Junichi accidentally drops the magazine on the ground. The girl is named Yukana, and she is a very famous gal. She is very unsatisfied with Junichi's behavior and warns him not to read adult magazines in public. Feeling threatened, Junichi dared not continue reading. During the lunch break, Sakamoto proposes that one of them confess to Yukana. He once saw in a magazine that a gal had an intimate relationship with a male classmate who forcibly kissed her. Shocked by the story, Junichi's face blushes, but he can't help fantasizing about the ambiguous scene with Yukana. Seeing through his ideas, the trio encourages him to confess to Yukana. Sakamoto tells Junichi that it is usually difficult for gals to reject boys' love confessions. As long as he kneels and confesses to Yukana, he will succeed. To avoid Junichi's remorse, Sakamoto asks Kobayakawa to take control of him and asks Ishida to put the confession letter in Yukana's shoe locker. After school, Yukana receives the confession letter. Following the instructions in the letter, she goes to the back of the school building to meet Junichi, remembering Sakamoto's advice. Junichi kneels and begs Yukana to have a relationship with him. Yukana recognizes Junichi as the boy who read adult magazines in the class and feels disgusted. Seeing her attitude, Junichi is even more desperate. If this matter gets out, he'll become a pervert who kneels towards girls for confessing, and he cannot find a girlfriend anymore. Just when Junichi is feeling sad, he sees Yukana's intimate clothes, feeling overexcited. He keeps in the position peeking at her. To his surprise, Yukana sees through his intention and deliberately shows off her hot figure, not having any experience with girls. Junichi is uncontrollably attracted to her. Amused by his reaction, Yukana deduces that he must have not been dating a girl. Realizing she is teasing him, Junichi feels very humiliated and wants to leave. Just then, Yukana grabs his hand. She claims to develop little feelings for him and agrees to become his girlfriend. However, Junichi believes he is not worthy of becoming Yukana's boyfriend. Before going to bed, he keeps considering why Yukana grants his request. He suspects that Yukana is teasing him, but at the same time, he feels guilty for speculating about his girlfriend. Eventually, Junichi falls asleep, fantasizing about having an intimate relationship with Yukana. The next day, still feeling shocked, Junichi is worried about how to get along with Yukana. On the way to school, he meets his 3 friends. They comfort him that they will offer him advice no matter how Yukana treats him, and Junichi feels very touched. Just then, Junichi receives a selfie from Yukana. Seeing this, the trio is envious since Junichi has just exchanged contact information with Yukana for 1 day. Believing that Junichi has betrayed their group, the trio is very dissatisfied with him. Junichi is shocked by their reversed attitude and hastily clarifies that their relationship isn't that close. Thinking Junichi is very incompetent, Sakamoto reveals that for girls, the karaoke place is equivalent to a hostel. He suggests Junichi ask Yukana to have a karaoke date and have an intimate relationship with her. Before class, Yukana asks Junichi about the photo. Receiving the praise, she feels very satisfied. Just then, Yu overhears their conversation and is surprised to see they have become so close. Taking it as an opportunity, Yukana directly announces that she and Junichi has become a couple. Shocked by the news, classmates all come to them for confirmation. Because there are so many classmates looking for them, Junichi never has a chance to speak alone with Yukana. After class, the trio is jealous that Junichi has a girlfriend and refuses to go with him. Yukana takes the opportunity to stop Junichi and takes him to a place. They meet Nin at the school gate, having a crush on Junichi. Nin is furious to learn that they are in a relationship. After she leaves, Yukana and Junichi come to a karaoke place. Junichi sees a placard on the wall, warning customers not to do anything unrelated to singing in the private room. Remembering Sakamoto's words that the karaoke place is like a hotel for girls, Junichi feels very nervous. What makes him even more nervous is that Yukana seems to seduce him. She sings love songs, creates an ambiguous atmosphere by duet singing, and takes off her uniform jacket. Taking advantage of the atmosphere, Junichi presses her shoulder and attempts to kiss her. However, Yukana stops him by suddenly pointing out his protruding nose hair, feeling extremely embarrassed. Junichi doesn't dare to continue interacting with her. In fact, Yukana rejects Junichi because she doesn't want to make their first kiss rashly. After leaving the karaoke, she tells Junichi that she is happy today and is looking forward to their next karaoke date. In the following episode, Junichi receives a confession letter in the shoe locker. Because the letter is not signed, he guesses that someone is deliberately playing tricks on him, hoping that Junichi can introduce more girls to them. Sakamoto and Ishida have been encouraging him to meet the girl who wrote the letter. Junichi also doesn't want to ignore the wishes of others and comes to the meeting place in the letter. The girl who writes the letter is a gal with black skin. She seems to be very interested in Junichi and shows him her hot body as soon as they meet. Just as Junichi is thrown down by her, Yukana stops them. It turns out that this girl is Yukana's childhood friend, Rank. Thinking that Rank is just trying to tease Junichi, Yukana doesn't care much about her behavior. But what she doesn't know is that Rank has been thinking about how to destroy her romantic relationship with Junichi. On a weekend, Yukana invites Junichi and Rank on a date, happening to see Junichi with two gals. Nin feels very sad, while Junichi is busy talking with the two girls and doesn't notice her. Soon he follows the two girls to a clothing store, seeing girls change into sexy dresses. Junichi feels very shy. After the date, Yukana is accosted by two gangsters. Junichi tries to protect her, but is shoved away. Fearing that Yukana will be in danger, Rank offers to date them. Then she feels very lost since he can't even fight back the gangsters, and he can't protect Yukana at all. Just then, he meets Rank. She admires Junichi's courage and confronting the gangsters for protecting them. She follows Junichi home and even proposes to have an intimate relationship with him. Junichi rejects her, claiming that he loves Yukana and only wants to have an intimate relationship with her. Enraged by him, Rank reveals her true intentions. It turns out that crush on Yukana, and she thinks Junichi is not worthy of being Yukana's boyfriend. Therefore, she wants to force Junichi and make him completely lose interest in girls. However, Yukana suddenly breaks into Junichi's house. She doesn't hear their conversation and mistakenly thinks Junichi betrays her. Rank hasn't prepared for revealing her feelings for Yukana yet. In order not to lose Yukana, she says that she just wants to test Junichi, believing in her words. Yukana gradually after returning to school, Rank warns Junichi before class not to reveal her feelings for Yukana. Additionally, Yu has been secretly observing Junichi and is furious to find that the person Junichi loves is not her. Yu has always believed that the world exists for her. Wherever she goes, there will be people like her. She enjoys being sought after in class, noticing that Junichi has paid little attention to her recently. She is very upset. During lunchtime, while Junichi is eating with Yukana and Rank, Yu offers to talk with him alone. Thinking Yu is disturbing them, Rank urges her to leave, swallowing her anger. Yu apologizes to them and leaves. Although Yui has a pure appearance, Rank has always felt that she is a very dangerous girl. After school, Yu invites Junichi to a coffee shop. Believing that Junichi and Yukana are not a real couple, she tries to know the real relationship between them. In contrast to her will, Junichi admits that he is dating Yukana and praises Yukana all the time. Hearing this, Yu's dissatisfaction with Junichi reaches its peak. After returning home, she accuses Junichi of his cheating behaviors on the live streaming. She reveals that Junichi used to be very shy after seeing her, and she still can't believe that he will fall in love with other people. Coincidentally, Sakamoto is her fan and sees the live. It turns out that Yu is a popular blogger who does live streams on the internet. Because of the difference in makeup and hairstyle, Sakamoto never recognized her before, since she mentions the trio in the live stream this time. Adding the content she complains about, Sakamoto recognizes her as Yu. He catches some screenshots during the live, and secretly takes some photos of Yu in school. After comparing the photos, he easily recognizes Yu as the blogger. He reveals Yu's true identity to Ashida and Kobayakawa, but is overheard by Rank passing by. Meanwhile, Yu brings Junichi to the rooftop. She demands Junichi to break up with Yukana and date her. Recalling his memories with Yukana, Junichi realizes that he has fallen in love with Yukana and rejects Yu's confession. Yu can't believe that she is rejected by Junichi. She loses control and shouts that Junichi should follow her like a dog, and that she doesn't allow him to wag his tail at others. She shows Junichi the dating video at the coffee shop, and claims to deliver the video to Yukana if Junichi doesn't date her. Just then, Rank appears with Junichi's 3 friends. Rank deliberately calls out Yu's stage name to threaten her. Not willing to expose her to win the favor of Junichi, Nin changes her hairstyle and dresses up as a gal. Although Nin is relatively short in height, she has a plump figure. The trio sees that Junichi has another gal following him and is very envious of him. One day, while Junichi is having lunch with Yukana and Rank as usual, Nin interrupts. She makes cookies and wants to feed them to Junichi. Yukana once met Nin at the school gate, thinking she is a very cute girl. Yukana greets her very much. Nin always thinks Yukana is playing tricks on Junichi and doesn't develop feelings for him. To win Yukana, she offers to have a competition. However, Yukana has a lot of fun in the competition and doesn't seem to regard her as a rival in love. Nin is irritated by her attitude and wants to claim that she is the person who has known Junichi the longest, and that no one is qualified to be Junichi's girlfriend except her. But she is too shy to confess to Junichi and has to run away. At night, after Junichi falls asleep, Nin suddenly burrows into his bed and wants to have an intimate relationship with him. After some inner struggle, Junichi makes up his mind to reject Nin. He tells Nin that the person he loves is Yukana and his body belongs to her. Although feeling sad, Nin doesn't want to give up. She decides to become a more popular gal than Yukana and snatches Junichi from her. In the next scene, Sakamoto reads a survey in a magazine related to the King game and believes that the game can quickly improve the relationship. To help Junichi and Yukana have a kiss like a real couple, he proposes to organize a party after school at Yukana's house. Junichi accepts his proposal and asks Yukana's permission before inviting others. Except for Junichi, others plan to go home first to change clothes. Realizing that he has time alone with Yukana, Junichi feels very happy. While waiting for Yukana, Yu suddenly appears and offers to join the party. Under her pressure, Junichi invites her to the... After school, Junichi is the first to come to Yukana's house. Yukana has changed into sexy night clothes, making it difficult for Junichi to take his eyes off her. What he regrets the most is that Yukana's parents are not at home today. If he plucks up the courage to invite her alone, they can have a very sweet couple time. Just then, Yukana approaches him. Unfortunately, before they could make physical contact, Rank, Nin, and Yu arrive. Rank is very familiar with Yukana's house and opens the door directly with a spare key. As a result, Junichi loses time alone with Yukana. Sensing the atmosphere between girls is not very good, he can only pray that the trio would appear as soon as possible. Soon, the trio arrives after changing into their favorite clothes. Sakamoto pulls out the props for the King game and announces the rules. According to the rules, the King can order others to do anything. The first few rounds go very well, and everyone is having fun. Seeing everyone has gotten used to the game, Sakamoto begins to play tricks. Having memorized the location of each lot, he can easily tell everyone's he wants to become the king in the next round and order Junichi and Yukana to kiss. But as the person holding the lots, he would be suspected to play tricks, it becomes the king. Therefore, he passes the prop to Junichi. However, worrying that Sakamoto will use the game to kiss other girls, Junichi readjusts the lots. After Sakamoto gives the order, he finds the person he has to kiss becomes Junichi. In addition, Ishida and Kobayakawa also need to kiss each other. Yukana sees that and immediately interrupts. Having a great time today, Yukana doesn't get angry. Instead, she invites everyone to travel during the summer vacation. Since none of them has enough money, they decide to have part-time jobs before summer vacation to earn money for the travel. With a 41-day countdown to travel, Sakamoto finds suitable jobs for boys. As ACGN fans, he and Ishida decide to work at anime peripheral stores. Kobayakawa loves children and is suitable working in a childcare home. Junichi's work is also perfect for him. He works as a kitchen staff at a cosplay-themed cafe and can see many beautiful girls. Coincidentally, girls happen to work at the same cafe, having hot figures and different personalities. They have attracted a lot of customers. But the manager of the cafe is a lustful middle-aged man who always asks them to wear shameful clothes. When their part-time job comes to an end, girls face trouble. The manager not only asks them to wear sailor suits but forces them to read adult novels for customers. Believing that the content of the novel is not suitable for them to protect girls, Junichi angrily rejects the proposal. Meanwhile, Yu gets in touch with the cafe owner. She complains about the manager's behavior and persuades the owner to cancel the activity. On the orders of his boss, the manager has to cancel the reading of adult novels. After work, Junichi and Yukana go home together. After this time of contact, they both fall in love with each other. Because they are going to a group trip, they agree to find an opportunity to have a date alone next time. On summer vacation, the group travel to the beach together. Junichi is very popular among girls, and even Yue is trying to attract his attention. But Junichi loves Yukana the most. When he sees Yukana being accosted by two boys, he immediately rushes up. Thanks to him, Yukana and Rank take the opportunity to get rid of the two boys and leave. After then, the two girls ask Junichi to smear them with sunblock at the same time, which makes him very shy. In contrast to him, the trio is not noticed by girls. All they can do is watch girls' luggage. In the end, Sakamoto and Ishida decide to peek at the girls in the bath. However, Junichi follows them because he always tries to stop them. Sakamoto and Ishida are very angry. They accused Junichi of being a traitor and want to get rid of him. During running, Junichi accidentally falls off a cliff. Sakamoto and Ishida ignore him and continue their plan. Unfortunately, the bathhouse owner set up a lot of traps in the forest, leading to the women's bathing area to prevent people from peeping. Severely hurt by the traps, Sakamoto and Ishida faint from injuries and can no longer continue their peeping plans. Meanwhile, girls have a lot of physical contact during soaking, and their relationship slowly becomes closer. After taking the bath, Yukana happens to meet Junichi by the sea. They rarely have the opportunity to speak alone. Junichi takes the opportunity to invite Yukana to go on a date at an amusement park, and Yukana agrees. After the trip, Yukana and Junichi meet a handsome guy near the station. He is a middle school classmate of Dai. He is handsome, cheerful, and has a good relationship with Yukana, which makes Junichi a little self-abased. After parting with Dai, he reveals to Yukana that she and Dai look so well-matched that he feels he is inferior to Dai. Feeling furious, Yukana is reluctant to talk to him. After returning to school, Junichi is very depressed because of the conflict with Yukana. He tries to communicate with Yukana but fails. After school, Junichi stops Yukana, but Yukana is also in a bad mood. She thinks that there is no need for Junichi to feel inferior because of Dai and hopes Junichi could reflect on his mistakes. Therefore, she claims to be attending a party, ignoring Junichi. The trio is sympathized with Junichi's experience and tries to cheer him up by going to karaoke. Unfortunately, Junichi meets Yukana and Dai after leaving the place and feels even sad seeing them chatting very happily. After then, Junichi and Yukana have a quarrel. Junichi thinks that Yukana is just teasing him during this time and has no intention of developing a relationship with him at all. Hurt by his words, Yukana is heartbroken. From then on, they never speak to each other. Seeing through the anomaly between them, Yu has a conversation with Junichi. However, Junichi's attitude is consistent. He insists that Yukana is just pretending to have a crush on him and doesn't really like him. Believing that Yukana will not play with Junichi reflects on the problem between him and Yukana. A few days later, Yukana organizes a girls' party where she wants to talk about her and Junichi's problems. But as soon as she thinks of Junichi, she can't help crying, feeling furious. Rank decides to teach Junichi a hard lesson. When she finds Junichi, he is drinking with the trio at a restaurant. Seeing this, Rank is boiling with rage. Yukana has always thought about Junichi first, but Junichi only thinks about himself. She grabs Junichi by the collar and rebukes him for being a selfish and weak man. Surprisingly, Junichi admits. Realizing his mistake, he vows to win Yukana's favor. Impressed by Junichi, Rank decides to let him go for the time being. Just then, Dai and his friends also come to this restaurant. Dai shows off to her friends that Yukana is a girl easy to deal with. When he is bored with her, he will introduce her to them. Boiling with rage, Junichi immediately rushes to him. Dai is very disdainful of Junichi and even deliberately insults him and Yukana. In disgust, Junichi angrily argues with him. In the end, they decide to go outside to settle matters. Junichi attempts to attack Dai but fails. Since Junichi is not good at fighting, he pounces and bites Dai's leg. Feeling pain, Dai hurriedly summons his friends to beat Junichi. However, Junichi's attitude is very resolute. He asks Dai to promise that he will not insult Yukana in the future. Otherwise, he will not let him go. Dai pretends to agree but immediately beats Junichi up with his friends after Junichi lets him go. Just then, Rank arrives with the trio. They ask Junichi to find Yukana to make amends while they stay fighting with Dai and his friends. Following their advice, Junichi calls Yukana, but she refuses to answer. As a result, he edits a text message saying that he has something to say and he will wait for her behind the school. Meanwhile, Nin and Yui are persuading Yukana, feeling that she doesn't know enough about Junichi. Yukana is not sure about Junichi's feelings for her. Knowing Junichi is very fond of Yukana, Nin and Yui suggest she meet Junichi to air out their feelings and Yukana agrees. After seeing the message, she goes to the meeting place. As soon as Junichi sees Yukana, he kneels, believing that his cord has hurt Yukana. He sincerely apologizes to her. Additionally, he expresses his feelings for Yukana, saying that she is gentle and cute, touched by him. Yukana accepts his confession and decides to take him to a place. She asks Junichi to go home to change clothes. After meeting again, they go to the amusement park for a date. It is the date they have been longing for, and Junichi feels very happy. In addition to the recreation facilities, they go to a photo booth and take photos together. Yukana deliberately chooses to take pictures while kissing and captures Junichi's shy expression. After the date, they agree to come to the amusement park together in the future. Before leaving, Yukana kisses Junichi while he is not paying attention. From then on, they become a real couple, although there are still many girls around Junichi. The only girl he loves is Yukana. Well, that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Also, don't forget to like this video to help my channel out. See you in the next video.